Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Professor Femi Olufunmilade. I'm Director, Center for Contemporary Security Affairs at one of our universities. I'm compelled to make this video just within 48 hours of making an earlier one where I spoke about the problem occasioned by roving armed herdsmen. This time around, I'm talking about the backwardness that is the lot of the people in the southwestern part of this country called Nigeria. This part of this country is known for being a pace setter since the era of limited self-government, which began in 1951 before the very eyes of the colonial authorities. That was the era that is the most talked about in the history of Nigeria as far as the southwest of the country is concerned. That was the era when Chief Femi Olufunmilade was premier, 1951 to 1959. And all those great achievements attributed to him, it may interest you, were accomplished even before Nigeria became independent. But today, this part of the country, without any exaggeration, can be described as one of the most backward because it has hardly gone beyond where Awolowo left it in 1959. If you see things like new universities and roads being opened up, a lot of it were done during the Second Republic, when I was privileged to enjoy the free education program of his government in Ibadan, while my late leader and friend and mentor, Shibola Ige, was governor. And what he did in Oyo State was replicated in Lagos by the illustrious Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, Chief Michael Adekunle Ajashin in Ondo State, Professor Ambrose Ali in the Old Bed State, and we also had our illustrious Shibisi Onabanjo, who actually founded the university I attended, then Ogun State University now, deservedly named after him. They did a lot. Now, you fast forward to where we are now, since 1999, when the so-called Fourth Republic began. And you ask yourself, what has really, been the difference since 1999 and now in terms of development? The reality confronting us in the face is that there is nothing to write home about. Nothing. Let me use some very common indices to justify my assertion. In how many towns and cities in Yoruba land do we have common running water? Tap. When Awolowo was premier, even though I wasn't alive then, but my parents would tell me about how they were, opening new communal tap waters here and there. Tap that had two gushing points that would be there in the heart of a community, and anybody would go there and fetch water. Because we were relatively backward then. A lot of houses in Ibadan and in all those cities had the water running right inside their homes. Today, I live in Ibadan and I have my house at Oluyole Estate, which you can call one of the elitist areas of Ibadan. There is no water. I had to dig a borehole. The former governor of Oyo State, late Ajimobi, his house is also there. And I don't think he's having any running water there. But I'm not even focusing on him. He did quite some good works in terms of opening up new roads, etc. in Oyo State. What I want to say is that it is high time we started looking inwards rather than putting our eyes on Abuja, talking about restructuring ad infinitum. Yes, yes, we need restructuring. But what about the 48% of the federal allocation that goes to states and local governments? The federal government takes 52. It remains just 2% for what the federal takes to be at par with what the states take. Are we saying that it's when it becomes 50-50? Or our states and local government gets maybe 60% or 70%, and the federal government takes 40 or 30%, that we are going to witness a turnaround in terms of our development? Is that when we are going to have standard functional schools? Is that when we are going to have road networks that connect the cities with the rural areas so that those who are into farming can easily move their goods? I have a homestead in a place called Ilumeri in Ijebu Northeast local government. If you travel from Ijebu through the area called Okeagbo, you go and connect Odedeyo, Mewuro, then you come to Ilumeri. From Ilumeri, you can move on to Okeaye Aton till you get to Iruwan and bust out at that western flank in Ijebu. The road there is one of the worst any rural community could have. And that is where the best Gari, when you hear of Ijebu Gari, it is those farming communities that dot that landscape from Ijebu to Ijebu through Okeagbo to Odedeyo, Mewuro, Ilumeri, Riwu, Aton, Odoshenlu Alaron, up to Iruwan, where you come out in Ijebu. Those are the communities that produce the best fine Gari that if you store it in your house 1 year, you take it to America. Our people that take it to America will tell you, for a year now, the Gari is intact. The sour Ijebu Gari. Smooth, like as if it was made with engine. They don't have all those villages, the people they have left the places. If you find people there now, it's the old folks. Some of us who want to invest there, we can't at the same time construct the road. What is Governor Dapo Abiodun doing? You come to your state recently, with all the killings in Ibarapa area of that state in Okeogun. It took the intervention of Sunday Adeyemo Igboho to bring the plights of the people to the limelight. Now, the State Commissioner of Police has visited the place. Yet you have a governor. Yet you have senators. Yet you have House of Rep members, State House of Assembly members from that area. Why is it that our governors are operating, our senators are operating, our House of Reps are operating as if they are accountable to no one? Is it that they don't understand the elementary tenet of representation, that it is about serving the needs of those who elected you into office? Our governors, in particular, they operate as if the apparatus of state is like that of a charity organization. If you complain and they come and do it, it will be like, okay, I will look into it. We come and give you one borehole there. It's like they are making a donation. It's not as if it is their duty. It is high time all these things stopped. Because you are our problem, our governors. You have nothing to show for being in office. There is nothing remarkable done in the entire Yoruba land, in the entire Yoruba states, in the past 22 years. By May 29 this year, it will be 22 years since we returned to democratic rule. That is, we've been governing ourselves at the state and local government levels. Nothing to show for it. to even pay staff salaries in some states is difficulty. This local government is just like where people meet at the end of the month and then collect money and go back. Some of them are like cemeteries. I visit local government headquarters deliberately. You imagine, is there nobody here? The few people you will find around, they are just loitering. You don't even know what their function is anymore. What do they even do? Apart from sharing federal allocation. What is their job? The state governor pockets them. Our local governments are like donations to political boys of the governors. They must win when they conduct election. All the local governments will be won by the party in power. And then the boys of the governor will be put there. When the new governor comes in, the first thing he does is to dissolve all the local government apparatus. And then he will now appoint some people as caretakers. They should go and loot for some time before, after pressure, he might conduct an election or not. They are taken as objects of compensation to political followers and supporters. They are not seen as a machinery for grassroots development. They are like, okay, oti ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa pẹ́, oti try ní Ìjẹ̀bú North area yẹn, every ṣe local government chairman, every ṣe caretaker, kò lè win. Tábà tẹ̀ ní ká ṣe election nínú ẹgbẹ́ gan kò lè win, ṣùgbọ́n ó try. Òun ló bá wa gbé àpótí ìbò ńgbà yẹn, ọ̀gbẹ́ni yẹn ìbá rọ̀ wá. That's what happens. You just use it to compensate your boys. And then the state machinery of government itself, where you are, as your excellency, it's like what one mobile GSM provider calls family and friends. You just give your friends essays, advisors, commissioners, and your family members. Your wife also has a separate state government on her own, under one program or the other. She will be having her own retinue of women, her own friends too, schoolmates, etc., church members, mosque members, and they will have their own budget. When you don't directly indicate they have a budget in the state government budget, annual budget, they will be going to parastatals of government for donations. And that is why we have nothing to show. Yoruba land, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I go to places like Ebonyi, I even say, hey, see what the governor is doing. And then Yoruba land, we that are supposed to be the best educated, who had been dealing with the world ever before we were even colonized. We've had the first newspaper, we've had the first school, the first secondary school, 1845 in Yoruba land. We've produced lawyers, we've produced engineers, we've produced surveyors, all those people before the turn of the 19th century. And where are we today? Look at Abeokuta, that is first in so many things, the capital of my state, Ogun. I'm ashamed. Nothing to show. Nothing. Abeokuta is just like one ancient village. There's nothing there. Nothing. Not to talk of Ijebu-Ode, my own place. You look at the road in Ijebu-Ode. The other day, my Jeep, I had the misfortune of missing my way within Ijebu-Ode because I was trying to avoid where I could be kidnapped. And at the end of the day, I ran into craters upon craters upon craters upon craters on this road, up to the point that the caliper of that Jeep broke, a very strong Jeep. And yet we have many big names. People that own private banks, people that own GSM, people that own all sorts of things from that same state, from that same town. And then they cannot even influence the government to do the right thing. Don't let us join them in this 2023 campaign. I'm not interested. in who becomes what. I'm only interested in getting value for money in Yoruba land before you come to me and tell me you have an entitlement to be president or something elsewhere. And that should be our focus. Yoruba people, don't let them deceive you. Oh, this is party A, ABC. This is party XYZ. They are the same thing. Many of those in each of those parties have moved across the board at different times, here and there, here and there. They follow the money, your money. That's what they follow. Where is it? If it's party ABC that is controlling it, they go there. If it's the pendulum swings, it goes to party XYZ, they go there. It's time to start holding them accountable. Let nobody come and campaign to us again. We should be able to say, what have you done? There is more than enough money accruing to our states to make it look as good as Dubai. If we've been applying what has been coming judiciously, and we have those who have rolled up their sleeves to tap our potentials. We have a lot of brilliant, our greatest assets, our intellect, our young people, with degrees in various fields that are wasting away. All of them are struggling to travel to Europe, perishing in the Mediterranean, perishing in the Sahara Desert. Many of our girls, they have become, I don't want to say it, just to make ends meet. Irresponsible leaders in Abuja, they are the ones making mincemeat of our girls because they are there looking for a job. I think I just need to stop here. I will do a follow-up. I've not said all that I need to be said.